There are the Great Lakes, and then there are Great Lakes, like Nipissing, which is where we are now. We're riding from North Bay in the east, and we're doing a full lap. We're going over towards the French River, and then underneath Lake Nipissing back to North Bay. A lot of great roads and a lot of great water. This week on El Camino.
El Camino is brought to you by Yamaha. Revs your heart. Scott Sports. No shortcuts. Best Western Hotels and Resorts.
Welcome to El Camino. I'm Neil Graham, this week with Jen Carrier, who's joining me on this trip around Lake Nipissing. And Jen is a local from North Bay.
Yes.
And Jen was originally going to ride a second motorcycle, but something happened and she's going to be my passenger. Now, Jen is also a passenger in a different form of motorcycling, in motorcycle racing. So this is what Jen does the rest of the time, but I hope she's not going to climb all over this bike like she climbs over the sidecar rig. So are you up for this? I mean, how is this going to be? It's a lot less involved than you normally do.
Certainly. So I'll be hanging on with my right hand and not my left. And I'll probably not be moving around so much. But other than that, I think we'll be fine.
Now, how did this incident happen with your hand? We should clear that up so people know what happened.
Racing again. Turn 2 at Mossport, and we didn't make it. And so here I am with a broken wrist and a banged up leg.
Now, when you are on a motorcycle after having an accident like this, do you have some trepidation, or are you totally comfortable?
No, I'm fine, actually. Didn't occur to me that this is fine. Yeah, I'm not afraid of riding at all.
Jennifer Carrier has been all over El Camino this season. She's featured in episode 6. There's a clip of her in our intro, and now she's back. This time as a passenger, but not as a sidecar passenger or monkey, but on the back of my bike. Jen is subbing for Jake on this trip, Jake who booked tickets to the opera months ago. And while Jen's a capable solo rider when she has two hands, a racetrack crash is keeping her off her own bike. Jen, a North Bay native, shows us around town before lunch downtown at Twigs.
This segment is brought to you by Yamaha. Revs your heart.
It's like docking a jetliner every time we stop. It's just like flaps down, flaps up.
North Bay's Lake Nipissing waterfront is a revelation. It's really stunning. But what catches my eye is a vintage carousel. I love carousels, even though I'm past the age when men are supposed to ride them.
I would take a hand with my jacket.
Oh. After all, you girls got to maintain a little dignity.
After somebody else took off my helmet.
If you misbehave, we just won't take it off. We'll just leave it.
That's the punishment.
That's the punishment for not behaving. I thought you said Oh, you.
Yeah, I asked if we were too old. She said no.
Oh, I see. That's because you really don't know how old I am. Okay, let's go. Just run it.
I'll go out train.
Just, I draw the line at the train. With a shred of dignity. if you make it through this, it'll be a positive step in your rehabilitation.
Right?
Hands on. Do not let go. I always think of those kids that would have ridden this 100 years ago and these one-horse towns and what this must have felt like. Just a sense of freedom, of movement that you don't have to do on your own. You know, before people even have cars. It must have just been incredible. I love traditions, you know?
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I'm not particularly sentimental necessarily, but I love tradition.
What's your favorite tradition?
Espresso in the morning. I love things that you do every day. I love the routine. I love the process of making coffee, which is drawn out because I have to grind the beans and everything is just takes a long time. But I love those rituals. Right? That's what I'm talking about. Rituals.
Yeah.
Even preparing a bike to race is a ritual.
Yes, I would agree.
You know, and how fastidious you have to be and get everything. Make sure everything is set up just exactly right because of the risk involved.
Yeah.
What do you think of it? You talk.
I'm not sure what to say.
You have no reaction to a casserole carousel. it's not a casserole.
I don't have any reaction to a casserole, although maybe it's good. I don't have the same reaction to it that you do.
That's because you haven't fallen off yet. Once you, I think you, maybe
Then I will be more attached. Then I'll have.
maybe you
I'll
maybe
wanna
you
do
need
it
to do
again,
things that you can't do easily, and this is just too easy.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Maybe. I didn't look at it that way.
All right, Jen. You're the local. What's next?
I think we should check out the pier. We can ride down there on the bike and we'll go and see the boat at the end.
So you can take the bike right out in the pier.
Right out on the pier.
Right.
Hey, do you see the end of it over there?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I think you can see the boat.
And what is the boat you're speaking of?
It takes people around the lake and they have dinner served and they do evening cruises. It's really quite nice.
But you've probably never done it because you're local and you can't do local things.
Well, I did once actually, after one of the North Bay races. Thank you.
Well,
How's this for a throwback? Riding your motorcycle out on a pier. Is it the 1970s? Or are Northerners just a little more relaxed than those of us from the big cities down south?
what a beautiful spot.
Isn't it? There's good fishing too right here.
Do you come down here often?
Not often enough.
I guess we should get going. How far is Sturgeon Falls?
About 30 minutes from here. Be a nice ride.
Perfect. So did you hear the guy saying that you could go out a mile? They could walk out a mile.
I heard that. I haven't actually. I've taken my daughter out there, and they do go out for quite a
But you
while.
know, it looks deep.
Well, I'm sure eventually it must get deep.
I think the name Nipissing sounds deep.
The towns on Lake Nipissing's shoreline are endlessly explorable. If you're in the mood and you've got the time, every gas stop is a fresh adventure.
I was on the outside of turn 2 at Mossport, and I was going around another rider, slower rider, and there was somebody that came beside me and clipped me. So I went down on my right leg. My leg was under the bike for a smidge. I was dragged along with the bike for a little bit, and then the bike went away from me, and I did some rolling and finished up that way.
So you ended up off the track on the right-hand side.
That's right.
Did you hit the wall?
I didn't hit it, no. I came close to it.
As the day winds down, we work our way towards Sturgeon Falls and find yet another location of Twig's Cafe. A little late for coffee? No, actually, not at all. It's never too late for coffee.
This segment is brought to you by Best Western Hotels and Resorts.
Good to go?
Yep, ready.
These feel like skill testing questions today. Your PIN number. Yay! Push the button. Just fueling up in Sturgeon Falls. But this is great. Now we get to ride a great road on the way to French River. So we can't wait to get going. See if I can figure out how to get a receipt. No receipt. I guess I'll go inside.
Our route takes us counterclockwise around Lake Nipissing. Clearly, it's a motorcycling hotspot. Especially if there's a poker run like this, based out of the retro chic Levine Tavern.
Best time of the day, Jen? Ice cream.
Excellent. Yes,
What's the difference between regular vanilla and French vanilla?
I think the amount of vanilla in it.
Right. Is the French like more?
Is that everything?
It is.
Comes up to $6.98.
Sucks.
Is it appropriate to be linking this on?
So after your accident, you had to miss a bunch of races.
Yes.
What was it like to see someone else passengering Dave on your rig?
It's awful to sit and watch somebody else because you just want to be out there, and especially because it was Mosport. It's the best place to race.
So somebody sort of trespassing on your territory.
Yes, he did a fine job. He was great on the rig, but still, that was my spot.
You're saying you get some grief for racing? Family members?
Yes, I did have a couple of people who asked if I would consider not racing anymore. It's hard for them to see. They didn't know, the extent of my injuries. They just saw some pictures on Facebook, and so they reached out and they did ask if I would consider
What
stopping.
did you say to them? Did you give them a definitive, I'm still going, or did you just smile politely?
No, I did let them know that I would go back out next year. There's no sense in lying about it, in giving some false hope. I will be back out there racing next year. Wait, well, just get Neil calm down for a second. Hold on.
Oh, I think this is
From never
don't know
having
what
been
happened.
to the French River to now 2 visits in one
Oh,
summer.
it's getting soupy in there.
But the museum's just as interesting. The views out back from the bridge are just as great. And it must be said that Jen is more talkative company than Jake, who's really only interested in his hair.
But you live in North Bay, but you've never canoed the French River?
No, I've been busy for a little bit, raising a daughter and going to work.
You have
I
time?
haven't gone up there.
You have time.
We stop for the night at a lodge along the French River near the town of Minetteville. Rain begins just after we stop, and Jen, one-armed or not, takes it upon herself to cook dinner. Home away from home. This is the first time I've done something without coffee. Yeah. Probably years.
Anything. I don't usually do anything pre-coffee.
So where are we off to? Port Loring?
I think so.
Is that breakfast?
Yes. Let's get some breakfast.
How far is it?
An hour and a half? Is it?
Okay.
All right. 4 days to coffee.
No. I'm so tempted to put this on backwards at one time. I thought that would be cruel. Today marks the longest leg of our Lake Nipissing loop. We're headed eastbound now, hugging the southern shore. We descend on Jake's place in Port Loring for breakfast, and I send Jake a photo to make him jealous. It works. He's upset he's missing this trip. My work is done.
This segment is brought to you by AGV Helmets. Protect like a champion.
With a sign that reads, Dead People's Things, we can hardly pass the Nipissing Corner Artique in the village of Nipissing. It's a magical place run by a really wonderful couple.
Did you get Jenny much?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Went across the north side, of Nipissing.
Yeah.
I went to French River.
Oh, that's lovely up there.
Yeah.
Beautiful country.
And then we're looping around and stuff.
Yeah.
Back to
Save the best for last.
Best Road.
Very good.
You a bluegrass fan?
Yes,
Oh,
big time.
yeah, me too.
Yeah, my daughter's a bluegrass fiddler.
Is she really?
Yeah, she plays all over the place.
I saw Alison Krauss last
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, he's a bluegrass man. I like him already.
Can't be that bad.
You should try one of these.
Oh yeah?
They're more comfy even than they. Are you able to get out? Did you?
Have you fallen? Can you get up?
I've always had to depend on the kindness of strangers.
Well, I guess you're
It
totally.
was lovely.
Auction.
Where did these come from?
They are made by a company in Guelph, and the company's been in business since 1949. And they're very, very high-end.
Dining set, huh?
Well, that could be the helmets are.
Right down the main street of North Bay, Jen.
I borrow money from Mark, the
need a
cameraman,
helmet.
to buy Jen a sundial
What would you
so
like
she
for
can
that?
chronicle her wrist's rehabilitation.
$5?
Seems awfully high, but I suppose we can manage.
I think you could. One beer. Well, this isn't Canadian Pickers by any means, is it?
No. That's beautiful.
You can take it back and it's the retail on that will be $195. Because,
I'll make up some story of who I bought it from. And,
yeah, little old crippled lady
Yeah,
from Nipissing.
she was just 1 foot in the grave, could hardly talk.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I talk backwards most of the time. Well, it's been a slice, guys.
Thank you so much. Lovely to meet
welcome.
you.
Yeah.
Real pleasure. Thank you so
Come
much.
back again. That is nice.
Isn't it?
What a sweet man. He dresses the girlfriend.
We're work associates. This is
Nothing about this looks like it should.
Well, this is the end of it. We've done our lap of Lake Nipissing. We're in a little town called Callender, so we've basically come back to just south of North Bay. And Jen, highlights?
That store where we could buy things from dead people, that was one of the highlights for me, certainly.
I think the Dead People store was my favorite thing. And those were such lovely people, and we got to talk hillbilly music and all the things that I love in life. It was just in one spot. And plus he has all sorts of old junk. The stuff that I have neither the finances nor the space to have. So I think it was perfect. So yeah, it was an amazing trip. I really enjoyed it.
So did I.
And thank you for coming along in place of Jake Hudson.
Thank you for the invite and letting me ride on the back of the bike for 3 days.
And thank you for not hitting me with your cast.
Well, it's not done yet.
It's not done yet. Thanks for watching El Camino.
Clothing was provided by Importations Tebow, service you can trust. El Camino was brought to you by the Motorcycle Super Show, the big one by the airport. Dynazy, 75 years of performance. Hudson Henderson, your insurance provider for motorcycle, power sports, and marine.